Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news, a daily briefing on stand-up comedy, comedians, and the comedy industry. That's exactly the kind of phrase someone trying to train the Spotify transcription algorithm would say. Now, despite how I wrapped yesterday's episode, there actually is news today. I woke up and I was like, oh, there's plenty to talk about. We'll start on a down note, the Rob Reiner situation, which I've been trying to only talk about through the lens of comedy. This is a story that is comedy adjacent. And attention once again on Conan O'Brien's holiday party. Page 6 and some of the British tabloids are reporting that one of the A-listers in attendance at Rob Reiner's memorial service on Monday left people in tears. They revealed the final words that Rob allegedly spoke at the party. According to the Daily Mail, Reiner said, "I'm petrified of Nick. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm afraid of my son. I think my own son can hurt me." It is unclear what celebrity said that. Multiple reports say Nick was acting erratically with guests at the party. One insider told People Nick was freaking everyone out, acting crazy, and kept asking people if they were famous. Another source told Us Weekly that Nick behaved creepily at the party. Switching gears, you live by the press, you die by the press. Amy Schumer, and anytime I talk about Amy, I'm like, she likes us to look at her, and now everyone's looking at you, Amy. From the list, many people believe there were signs that Amy Schumer's marriage was headed for divorce all along. But that isn't making it any easier on her soon-to-be ex, Chris Fisher. A source told the Daily Mail, Chris is lost right now, but is comforted by the fact that Amy will always be in his life because of their 6-year-old son, Gene. He's sad that it's come to this. Being her friend and co-parenting is great, but being in love and with her in marriage was better. Of course, everyone eventually moves on from heartache, and Chris will too, but it's going to take him some time, and Amy is such an important part of his life. A source told Page 6, Schumer expects that they'll co-parent full-time together, and that Fisher will see Gene almost as much as he does now, if not more. They're still largely under the same roof for the kids' sake. According to the source, it's important for Amy Schumer that Fisher's still there for Gene, and even hopes that all three of them could travel together if she goes on tour. But the insider says she just never wants to be romantically involved with him again. So weird. Another insider in the Daily Mail said they didn't try to fix their marriage. They didn't put focus on their relationship. It was all about themselves and their kid, but never about them, and never about trying to get back to where they first found love. Now it's too late. Congratulations to Pete Davidson and girlfriend Elsie Hewitt. They welcomed a baby girl. Scotty Rose Hewitt Davidson was born on December 12th. Hewitt shared several images of the family on social media. The caption, "Our perfect angel girl arrived 12/12/2025. My best work yet, and I'm absolutely overflowing with love and gratitude and disbelief." It is believed that Scotty Rose Hewitt Davidson is named after Pete Davidson's father, Scott Davidson. Scott Davidson was a New York City firefighter killed on September 11th, 2001. His son, Pete Davidson, earlier this year played the Riyadh Comedy Festival. So there you are. It's Friday afternoon. You've recorded the entire weekend plus Monday. You're going to go play some video games, and you pick up your phone and you see Bowen Yang is leaving SNL immediately. Tonight is his last episode. Yang joined SNL as a writer in 2018. He joined the cast as a featured player the next year, became part of the main group for season 47. He will depart after tonight's episode, the episode being hosted by his Wicked co-star Ariana Grande. Bowen has some other things in the works. Tangles, a story about Alzheimer's, My Mother and Me. He has a voice acting role in a new Cat in a Hat, and of course hosts the popular Las Culturistas podcast. The Hollywood Reporter says it's unusual for a cast member to exit mid-season, but not without precedent. Cecily Strong did it, so did Molly Shannon, Eddie Murphy, Dana Carvey, and Janine Garofalo. So much for not having any news on a Saturday. Tom Cruise unveiled the first teaser for a comedy. Digger will be in theaters in October. Little is known about the movie. We see Tom Cruise dancing with a shovel in his hands and standing on top of a fence on what appears to be an oceanside boardwalk. On Instagram, Tom Cruise captioned it, "In Digger We Trust." Digger, a comedy of catastrophic proportions, only in theaters, October 2026. Warner Brothers on Twitter wrote that Cruise plays a man named Digger Rockwell in the movie. Earlier this year, the director told The Hollywood Reporter, "It's scary and funny and beautiful." Nate Bargatze has a movie coming out, The Breadwinner. That'll be out March 13th. I shared the trailer in the Facebook group, which is Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. As I wrote in my post, yikes, maybe Adam Sandler is good at comedy movies because Nate Bargatze isn't. This trailer looks really bad. Dylan commented maybe he wants to get his Jack and Jill out of the way early. I did start to pull the audio, and it's not worth your time. Nate and Mandy Moore lead the film as a married couple whose lives get turned upside down After supermom Katie lands a once-in-a-lifetime deal following an appearance on Shark Tank, the catch, it requires her to set out on an extended business trip and leave her husband in charge. That's right, the wacky husband who doesn't know how to cook or do laundry or even locks himself out of the house. Chuckle. What is this, 1982? Nate Bargatze assumes the role of a stay-at-home dad for the very first time. The official logline, with 3 young daughters and little experience handling their day-to-day needs, Nate finds out quickly that running the household is the toughest gig he's ever had. I guess Sandler said no. I guess Kevin James said no. Don't forget, Nate's going to open a theme park, so you'll go on the breadwinner roller coaster in about 10 years. In the trailer, we see the Nate character, a former car salesman tripping over laundry, struggling to cook eggs. He locks the family out of the house, and he gets lost on the way to school drop-off. Oh, man, they worked really hard on that script. The Nate character says, she makes it look so easy, but it's so hard. Wow. Wow. We're in Jack and Jill territory. I guess I have an early pick for next week's comedy stock market. Jimmy Kimmel did his final show of 2025 on Thursday. He said, this has been a strange year. It's been a hard year. We've had some lows. We've had some highs. For me, maybe more than any year of my life. On behalf of all of us at the show, I just want to say that we appreciate your support, your enthusiasm, and not just for watching this year. You literally pulled us out of a hole, and we cannot thank you enough. See, that's not true. None of us literally pulled the Jimmy Kimmel show out of a hole. It was a figurative hole. Otherwise, I guess Jimmy Kimmel and the staff would have been, we would have been at ground level, and somebody would have used a shovel and dug something, and we would have been looking down at Jimmy Kimmel, who would have been looking up at us and going, help me, I am stuck in a hole. And then we literally could have helped him out of a hole. Regardless of semantics, Jimmy Kimmel thanks us and says, I know there are a lot of harder jobs, but this is not an easy job to do. And sometimes it feels like we're spinning our wheels. You see so many awful and destructive acts, all this damage we inflict on ourselves on purpose, and it can make you feel crazy trying to wrap your head around these things that are so clearly wrong. Not a bad show, considering when I went to bed last night, I thought I had nothing for today. I'm in a good mood. My daughter, she's back from college, and she stopped off at the new coffee house in town, and she got me a pistachio cold brew. It is delicious. And I was like, how much was that? And she's like, $6.50. And I went, oh my. So even if I nag you guys to go to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews and throw money in the tip jar, the suggested amount is $5. That won't even cover one of these pistachio ice brews, but it is delicious. I need your help crowdsourcing for Tuesday's episode. One of the segments will be Comedy Festivus, much like the Seinfeld episode. I will take part in the airing of the grievances. Please remind me what I'm forgetting to be grieved about. I've got Riyadh Comedy Festival on there, don't worry. Daily Comedy News Podcast Facebook group. Please feel encouraged to join the group. You'll get asked a couple questions about Bob's Burgers, one about What You Seek. The What You Seek one trips up a lot of the robots. No porn bots in the Daily Comedy News Podcast group. In the New York Times, friend of the show, Jason Zinneman, asked, what does the potential sale of Warner Brothers Discovery mean for stand-up comedy? Jason points out, HBO has one of the great comedy legacies in pop culture, helping launch the modern stand-up special half a century ago with An Evening with Robert Klein. Jason adds, to be sure, the landscape is more crowded today, and the HBO special does not dominate the field as it once did, but it has carved out a niche as an alternative to the megastore aesthetic of Netflix, providing a home for artier, more high-concept work by comedians like Gerard Carmichael or Hannah Einbinder. He points out the Sarah Sherman and Adam Pally specials as things that could be lost if things get Netflixed a little. I've talked about on this program, and I've talked about it with Jason, that the whole HBO Max, HBO Max, HBO Max, HBO confusion, they've really goofed up the brand. Us old people used to understand, oh, it's HBO, it's Saturday night, it's 10 p.m., there's a comedy special, this is major. An example of that this year was Marc Maron, was Saturday night at 10 p.m. Then some things are Max shows and some things are Max specials. So top of mind, Sarah Sherman's recent thing came out on a Friday. Is that a quote-unquote HBO special, or is that an HBO Max special? And is an HBO Max special somehow lesser, or do only old people who study the media like me care about such things? Probably the latter. But there really is something to be said for brand. When you put Game of Thrones next to Dr. Pimple Popper, you goof up your brand. Right now, Apple TV Plus is being seen as prestige. Maybe you don't like all the shows, but they're getting by on goodwill because, oh, all right, the Apple shows are pretty good. I should check this out. The way HBO Sunday night used to be with everything they put in that 9 to 11 p.m. block. They've kind of messed up the brand a little bit. What a Netflix-owned HBO would mean for comedy? Who knows? But no matter what it is, it'll probably be better than Hilarious. And that is your comedy news for today. Tomorrow, Daily Comedy News Unwrapped. Johnny Mac, did you need to come up with an idea to burn off a weekend show a couple days before Christmas? How dare you? How dare you suggest that? See you tomorrow.